If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button for daily boxing content, guys. Now, this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion because Vladimir Klitschko is held to such a high standard. But I actually think that Joseph Parker is going to be a more tougher challenge for Anthony Joshua than Vladimir Klitschko was. And I'll let you guys know why. Vladimir Klitschko was an all-time great. There's no argument there with me. Vladimir Klitschko has accomplished way more than Joseph Parker. There's no argument with me. But we have to keep in mind, when Vladimir Klitschko fought Anthony Joshua, he was past his prime. I don't care what anyone tells me. No one's going to convince me that Vladimir Klitschko was in his prime. He hadn't fought in 2 years, and he was about 41 years old. He wasn't in his prime. But even that version, a 41-year-old inactive Vladimir Klitschko, even that version of Vladimir Klitschko was able to win rounds against Anthony Joshua, was able to drop Anthony Joshua, was able to exploit weaknesses in Anthony Joshua. Now, obviously, a lot of things play a factor. The fact that Vladimir Klitschko had way more experience than Anthony Joshua probably helped him out big time. And he was able to exploit a lot of the weaknesses that the younger fighter like Joshua had. But I'll tell you why this is my opinion, more tougher fight and a better fight, really, is Parker's in his prime. Parker has ambition. Parker, in my opinion, I think Parker is one of those guys that is going to take more risk than someone like Vladimir Klitschko would. Because Vladimir Klitschko, even in his prime, he never was a guy that liked fighting on the inside. He never was a guy that showed heart, like a lot of heart, right? He was always afraid to fight on the inside. That's why Vladimir Klitschko, David Haye famously say, jab, jab, grab. He was basically implying that Vladimir Klitschko would throw a jab and then he'll grab his opponent and hug him whenever his opponent attempted to get on the inside against him. And the reason he would do that is because he didn't like fighting on the inside. Even in his prime, Vladimir Klitschko was like this. Parker, I think, first of all, I think he has a better chin than, you might say he has a better chin than Vladimir Klitschko, although that could be, we have to see what happens when he gets hit with Joshua. So maybe I shouldn't say that. But I do think he has a durable chin. And I do think he's more willing to fight on the inside. If you look at him against, Hughie Fury, he was chasing Hughie Fury. He was trying to go on the inside against Hughie Fury. Now imagine if that was Hughie Fury in there with Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko wouldn't be taking chances like that. Because when Vladimir Klitschko fought Tyson Fury was fighting the exact same way that his little cousin Hughie Fury fought against against Joseph Parker. But look at the difference. Vladimir Klitschko wasn't brave enough to chase after and cut the ring off against Tyson Fury, because that's what he had to do to win the fight. But he was too intimidated to get countered. He was too intimidated to try and attempt to go on the inside against Fury and do what he needed to do, rough him up, impose your side, yourself on him, impose yourself. He was too intimidated to do it. The whole time it was like he was trying, but something was not allowing him to do it, and that was just the fear factor of getting countered, in my opinion. Just compare that to when Joseph Parker fought Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury was doing the exact same thing. He was boxing, running around the ring. But look at what Joseph Parker did. Joseph Parker wasn't afraid to get countered, was he? He was, leaping it. He was going after Hughie Fury. He was going on the inside. He was attempting it. So that tells me that he is more willing to fight fire with fire, if you get what I'm saying. I think that this is a very interesting fight. I think that if Anthony Joshua isn't in his A game, he can definitely get countered. He can definitely get hurt. I do think he doesn't have the best chin in the world. Just my opinion. What I'm interested in the most is seeing how Joseph Parker fights this fight. Does he stand in front of Joshua Does he attempt to like fight him at close distance? The way because I think Vladimir Klitschko, he kind of did two things. He fought in close range, but then he would like move, like he was on his toes a lot. Because I remember like just having memory of that fight, he was like jumping, like he was like on his tippy toes. So Joseph Parker, will he do that? Will he be standing in front of Joshua, or will he be playing the matador and moving and just attempting to outbox Joshua? I like that Joshua was saying he's going to go on the inside. He's going to go to the body. I like that he's saying that. Because I think if Joshua is in there with Parker, who's going to be on the move, that's what you need to do to break down Parker. But what I think is going to happen is when Joshua gets up close, when he's up close up on Joseph Parker, I want to see if Joseph Parker, because I do think Joseph Parker has a dog in him. I do think he has a dog in him. I want to see Joseph Parker. And I think, because for some strange reason, I get the impression that Joshua is one of these type of guys that doesn't do well when he's being backed up. Like when he's being backed up and you're pushing him back and you're beating him up, I don't think he's I don't think he's that. I think he's very vulnerable, basically. Because again, I'll never forget that round where he was exhausted and he was being pushed back by Vladimir Klitschko and he was being beat up. Because Anthony Joshua is an aggressive fighter. He's a come forward fighter. And a lot of these type of come forward fighters, these bully type of fighters, when they're being pushed back, a lot of times they don't know how to handle it. You know, I feel someone like a prime Evander Holyfield would have been a massive, dangerous fight for someone like Anthony Joshua. I know that might sound controversial to some people, but because Evander Holyfield was a really good inside fighter, and he would get on the inside on guys and push them back and like take them to places they've never been to. A prime Evander Holyfield, that is. That would have been interesting, like to see a prime Holyfield versus Anthony Joshua. I think that would have been a great fight. Especially if Anthony Joshua would have been gassed out second half of the fight and Holyfield would have been dogging him going on the inside. I just think that would be that would have been a great fight. I think I know some people might say, well, that's dangerous because Joshua could be throwing those uppercuts and really hurting somebody like Joseph Parker, and that's true. But at the same time, people, when Joshua is exhausted in second half of the fights, he's vulnerable. And I think, how do you exhaust a guy? You lean on him, and you be physical with him. That's how you exhaust him even more. So I think Parker should do that. He should take advantage of that. Get on the inside, really rough him up, and be physical with him. You know, be physical with him. So I think the fact that both of these guys are young, the fact that both of these guys are ambitious, the fact that both of these guys want to be undisputed, want to have all three belts, I think that's what's going to make this into a good fight. Because a lot of times when you have two guys that are young, I always feel that the best fights happen with two young fighters. Because young fighters, especially when they're undefeated, because young undefeated fighters, they don't know what it is to lose, and they're ambitious. Right? They're ambitious. They want to win the fight. Right? They want to, you know, they have a lot of pressure on them. They want to be successful. They want to make a bunch of money. But guys that, you know, have already made it and have already made millions, these guys, they don't have the ambition that they did when they were younger. And especially if they won belts already, like several belts. So a lot of those guys, they fight more cautious. They fight more, you know, defensive first. They fight more wise, and also they have more experience. They don't take risks like the younger guys do. The younger guys, because they're I guess you could say they have to have a lot of confidence, especially if they're undefeated, because they're ambitious, because they want to win belts, they take more risk. You know, Sean Porter versus Keith Thurman, perfect example. Both of these guys were young when they fought, and both of these guys were trying to win the fight. Look at how exciting that fight was. Very exciting fight. Dillian White versus Anthony Joshua was an exciting fight. I think Joseph Parker is a better fighter than Dillian White. I think Joshua has improved, though, since then. It's just a very interesting fight, guys. And I know I just have all these ideas, man. All these thoughts. Not ideas, all these thoughts. concerning these fights that I want to make these videos. So let me know what you guys think. I really don't know where this video went, has gone to. But if you guys, I guess it's just me mumbling my thoughts to my subscribers. Guys, if you guys watched the whole video from start to finish, I appreciate it. And I'm out. Thanks for watching, guys.